Hello and welcome to the Daily Dulcinea. Today is August 26, 2008, and on this day in history in 1839, the U.S. Navy apprehended the ship, the Amistad, which was on the Long Island Sound at the time, after slaves aboard the ship had revolted against their captors. Katz, can you tell us about the events of that day?
Well, the boat was supposed to leave it was going from one part of Cuba to the other. So there were a lot of slaves aboard this ship, this Spanish ship, and the trip lasted longer than I expected. There were rumors that they were running out of food. Like the weather conditions made the trip much longer than it was supposed to be. So the cook actually said that they were going to kill the slaves and eat them. So this spread throughout the ship, and somebody by the name of Cinque, he was a slave. He actually decided to lead a rebellion against the people on the ship. So he found a knife, and he managed to get himself out of his shackles with a knife. And he helped lead the rebellion against everybody else. And they took over the ship, and they killed the captain, they killed the cook, they killed other people, and they said, okay, we're sending this ship to Africa. So we're going back to Africa. But the person who was driving the ship, he took the boat to Africa, toward Africa, during the day. But at night, he took it back northwest. So in August, around this time, on this day, they end up on the Long Island Sound, and that's when the U.S. apprehended the ship and took them into custody.
So can you tell us more about this leader? How did he go about the revolt?
Well, Cinque was born in Africa. He was born in West Africa, and he was the son of a tribal leader. So apparently he was in some debt. So some African tribal leaders took him as a slave and sold him to slavery to Spanish traders. And eventually he ended up in Cuba. So he led the revolt. He's renowned as the leader of the revolt. And he ended up afterwards, like after everything was done with, he ended up back in Africa. But he found out that his family was sold into slavery and his village had been destroyed.
And when the case came to trial, the court actually decided in favor of the slaves. So what were the implications for U.S. history?
Well, there's actually a lot of debate as to where this stands in U.S. history. I mean, some people say this was a big moment in the history of the U.S. leading to the Civil War. They say that this kind of like cemented the abolitionist movement because they went to court after they were apprehended, and the trial lasted about 2 years. So it was a pretty intense trial, and in the end they were freed. So this cemented like abolitionist support, and some say that's very important. But on the other hand, Judge Story, who was the Supreme Court justice in this case, his decision was pretty much that the slaves should be set free because they weren't the legal property of the Spanish owners or the alleged owners. So all that was really decided in this case was that they were not really technically slaves, because if they were, they would probably have to go back to the Spanish owners. So they would argue that it really didn't have that intense implications for leading to the Civil War.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for your report today.
You're welcome, Kate.
And for more information on this story as well as others, please visit us at findingDulcinea.com. Thank you, and we hope to see you again tomorrow.